Hello, clever people. Welcome back to Connor's Weekend Ticket. This is another late review. I've just had a very busy week. So let's just hop right into it. Movie number 1. So Gifted is a film starring Chris Evans, McKenna Grace, Octavia Spencer, and Jenny Slate. And it's about this girl who's 7 years old, and she's being raised by a dad who is her uncle. And she is extremely smart, and she's only 7 years old. Chris Evans' mother, McKenna Grace's grandmother, wants her to go to a gifted school, and she's fighting over the custody for her. And this film was incredible. It's from the director of some of my favorite movies, like 500 Days of Summer, but he's also made The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I can forgive him for. I mean, I can say the only reason why he was hired for that was so they could have complete control over him. I mean, he only had one hit, and that's why. That's what they've been doing with indie directors recently. They've been hiring them, and then they control them because they've only had one hit. Back on track. Gifted was not only extremely sad and dramatic, it was also extremely funny, and it's, I think, the funniest film I've seen all year besides Get Out. Mark Webb did an incredible job directing this film. Whoever wrote it, the script was very good. And my favorite thing about it was probably the chemistry between Chris Evans and McKenna Grace. It was exceptional. There's a Wired interview where they're just talking, and they're doing the thing where the web's most searched things about Chris Evans, and you can just see the chemistry between them. It's just fantastic. And on that note, the acting is fantastic. McKenna Grace is extremely good for how young she is. She's like 10 years old, and she's a fantastic actress. I cannot believe that. It's amazing. And it was very entertaining. Like I said in most of my reviews, I say this about a lot of movies. But in that case, I absolutely loved Gifted, and that's why I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's competing for my number 1 so far this year. Now on to our next film. Because The Fate of the Furious is about action and cars, and doesn't, like, I say this a lot when it doesn't have a plot. This honestly has, like, no plot. Like, Dom goes rogue because Charlize Theron has some dirt against him, and he doesn't want something to happen. That's a spoiler. Like, it's impossible to talk about because either everything's a spoiler or doesn't make sense or just doesn't exist. There's no plot for this movie. Do you think I like this film? Because you were wrong, because I did not. I can say that there are some good things about it. Charlize Theron did a good job. She was a good villain, and it was entertaining. It wasn't as entertaining as some other good, like actually good movies I saw this weekend. It's probably the third most entertaining of the 4 movies I saw. Yeah, it's not really that entertaining. It's just kind of. It's not worth seeing. Now let's move on to the bad. So I do have a lot of things against it, and some people may call this nitpicks, or you're not supposed to think of it as a film. It's supposed to be stupid. Yeah, films aren't supposed to be stupid. They can be stupid and you can still enjoy them, but they're not supposed to be stupid, and I can still critique something that is stupid even when people like it because it's stupid. And I'm gonna say, the first thing I have against it, it's stupid. And I'm not talking stupid like Charlize Theron hacking into every car in New York City. That's the stupid I understand. It's supposed to be like that. But stupid like logical errors, like a taser being put against a door in a high security prison, just put at the top of the thing, and every door in the entire prison opens. You've got a really bad prison there. That was just, what? That doesn't make sense. Another thing that didn't make sense is they're like, where are we gonna find Dom? They're thinking about, where would Dom be? Where are we gonna find Dom? They're like, let's search it up on our supercomputer that can find anyone in seconds. It's like, wouldn't that be the first person? Wouldn't that be the first thing you do if you're gonna look for something? Like, oh, I'm looking for this person. Type. I have a supercomputer where I can type in anyone's name and it pops up where they are in the world. It's the first thing you would think of. In fact, that would be incredibly useful, and I don't know how the government isn't using that if that existed in this universe. I know I'm totally nitpicking right now, but I don't care. It's stupid. There's another thing that someone may consider a nitpick, where whenever they go to a new city, it always says, like, in gigantic font, Berlin, or New York City, or Russia. Like, we didn't know, especially when they're like, we're gonna go to Berlin. Alright, see you in Berlin. Alright, come on. Oh, hey, we're going to Berlin, right? Plane comes by. Berlin in magnificent, like, gigantic font. Like, we're not stupid. We know that that's Berlin. Like, what? The acting was very bad, especially from Michelle Rodriguez, who cannot deliver a line without sounding like she's about to laugh, or she's about to go, oh, wait, I messed up, can we redo that? Because all of her lines either sound the exact same, or, like, completely different in the same scene, and it's just horrific. She can't act. The cinematography felt kind of bland. Like, it was just the same shots over and over again. This shot, this shot, this shot, this shot, this shot. Like, it could have been really interesting and really great. But no, they can't do that because it's a Fast and the Furious movie and they can't make anything good except for, I don't know, one thing. And I know, like, I don't have to explain this one. The plot is my least favorite thing about this film, and that's kind of obvious. So, I'd give The Fate of the Furious like a 3.5 out of 10, I guess. Yeah, I think that deserves it. Now let's move on to our third film. So, T2 Trainspotting is a film starring Ewan McGregor, Robert Carlyle, and is directed by Danny Boyle, who directed the original Trainspotting, and Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, 28 Days Later. This film is about these four characters. If you've seen the original, you know. Basically, be too hard to explain the entire plot of Trainspotting, but it's these four characters trying to start a new life after their addiction. I actually loved T2 Trainspotting, but it's hard to kind of show how I loved it. I mean, the things I wrote down are things I think about every film. One thing that I don't normally bring up is how surreal it was. I thought that was fantastic. The metaphors, how it talked about human life and how hard life is, was exceptional, and I loved that. And the cinematography is absolutely fantastic, like, amazing. Some of the best I've seen this year, if not of all time. And of course, there are the things I always bring up. Acting, directing, script, chemistry. But the chemistry is worth noting because it was very exceptional. So that's why I'll give T2 Trainspotting a 9 out of 10. So up next, as our last film, we have Born in China, which I do not have a ticket stub for because it is, I saw it at a screening. So Born in China is about animals that were born in China, and that's it. It's narrated by John Krasinski, and honestly, there is no reason to see this movie. I would not have seen it if I didn't get it at a screening. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to AdvancedScreenings.com and Disney Nature for the screening, but there's no reason to see this film. Actually, I'm going to stop you there. It was not AdvancedScreenings.com. It was San Diego Family Magazine, so shout out to San Diego Family. I'm sorry that this video is extremely late. Very busy weekend. Let's start out with the good things. The cinematography is gorgeous, but there are, like, better films with good cinematography and, like, actually good documentaries about nature with good cinematography. So I wouldn't choose this. And John Krasinski is a good narrator, but all of these Disney nature documentaries have good narrators, and they're not all that great. So the one bad thing I have is just how obnoxious it is that Disney always tries to anthropomorphize, like, every animal, even if it's not anthropomorphic. They're like, Tao Tao is feeling sad because his family doesn't want to accept him. It's like, how do you know? His family could have, like, I don't know. It could be, like, not his family. It could be, like, his friends or something else could happen, but they're, like, making it up. And I didn't like that. I thought it was incredibly cheesy and incredibly stupid. This is just such a 5 out of 10 movie. It's so in the middle. Didn't do anything too good. Didn't do anything too bad. Not worth seeing. Other movies that are better that you could see right now. Alright, for my ranking of films I saw, it'll be number 1, Gifted, number 2, T2, Trainspotting, number 3, Born in China, and number 4, The Fate of the Furious. What are your rankings of these films? Comment below. I will be seeing either The Promise or The Lost City of Z and hopefully Free Fire for the next weekend ticket. And that concludes my review. I'm Connor Gilbert, and this is Cover Critics. Goodbye.